Today we are creating a paper collage inspired by the artist Pete Cromer. We're going to create our whole artwork today using paper and glue. So the first thing you're going to do is pick a color that you want to use to create your bird, and then pick a color for your background. I have some different stencil shapes you can use. I traced this on my purple paper and then I cut it out. I glued it on here. And then I started looking for what colors I wanted to use on my bird. So we have a lot of fun colors of paper. We've got some leftover painted paper from a different collage project. We have black, we have lots of different bright colors. So what I did was I went ahead and picked out my colors first. Then I started cutting out shapes. So I have a variety of different shapes cut that you can use. This would be a good little shape for like a wing. This would be as well. Another kind of wing feather shape. We have small circles. We have big circles. Lots of different shapes. I even have a few teardrop shapes. So I went ahead and started cutting out paper. And before I glue anything down, I like to see how it's going to look before I glue it. And what's going to make our artwork look really interesting is by layering paper and adding different textures. So I like this painted paper. It adds a lot of texture to your artwork. And I can play around with different compositions by moving the shapes around. I like kind of layering these circles here on my bird because you can make lots of fun little spots and stripes on your bird and designs. And these are not realistic birds. They're a little bit abstract. So think about, and I'll have some different examples of birds for you to look at. Some of the birds that Pete Cromer creates have a really interesting feathers on top of their heads. But I can move things around and see where I think they look best before I glue them. Now we haven't used liquid glue a whole lot, so we need to talk about that too as we work. So when we're using liquid glue, a little dot holds a whole lot. So when you're opening your glue, make sure you twist the lid, the orange part, not this part, just the orange part. And I'm going to use the tip of the glue bottle to spread it around. I like to put it around the edge, maybe a little bit in the middle. I can use the end of this glue bottle to spread it around. See, I'm not just squirting large amounts of glue. A little dot holds a whole lot. And I can put it on there, I can rub it on there, make sure it's sticking on there very good. Just a few little dots of glue is all you need. Spread it around and then glue it on your artwork. And if you get a little extra glue somewhere, that's okay because it will dry clear and you're not going to see it after it dries. And think about how, like I said, you want to layer your papers, putting colors on top of other colors. That's what's going to make your artwork look interesting. Like I can even use white paper to make a little shiny spot on my bird's eye, like a little reflection there. You can even slide the glue, move it back, wiggle the paper back and forth. That helps spread the glue around. See, even though I can kind of move it around, even though something I also like to do is flip the paper over and give it a little massage like this every so often, and that'll help make sure your glue is spread around. It might get a little bit on the table, but that's okay. You may use pencils to draw, to trace shapes, but we're not using pencils or markers to draw on our artwork today. We're creating everything with paper. So let's look. If I'm tracing something with a pencil, it will leave pencil lines on the back. So what I like to do is I like to flip my paper over and then get my pencil to draw so that you don't see my pencil lines after I'm done. So watch. So if I'm tracing a little circle shape here, I'm gonna do it on the back of the paper. Then when I cut it out, you're not going to see those pencil lines. Which that part really won't matter if I'm using a paper that's the same on both sides. But see, this side's got a mark on it, so I would flip it over this way. So everything looks nice and clean when I'm working on my artwork, okay? So I'm excited to see what kind of fantastic birds you create.